Hello, cruisers. This is Rick Way, the Texas Cruiser. There's got a lot of talk about on this hurricanes and cruise season. I've done a lot of my cruising during hurricane season. One time we on Rhapsody Seas sailing in, doing a 7-day Eastern Caribbean sailing. Going to Cayman, Cozumel, and Jamaica, and a tropical storm, Arlene, was messing around the Caribbean before she moved into the Gulf and became Hurricane Arlene, and I believe I think she did hit Texas. Anyway, I digress on that. Anyway, we had to do a medical emergency and to drop off somebody in Cayman during the storm. The storm was there. Wasn't, I mean, it's like, I'm from Texas. We get these old storms and stuff come through. And so, Rhapsody of the Seas at the time is more like a mid-sized ship and all that. Now it's a little more on the smaller end of the scale. But we had to drop off that passenger. Then we moved on to Jamaica. I was disappointed. I love Cayman Islands, and I was disappointed to miss the island stop, but hey, the weather was pretty bad there, so I was surprised I was able to get off somebody to take them off the ship for American emergency. Way back in the 1980s, whenever I sailed on Royal Caribbean, we had to. Back in those days, we didn't have piers and all that to anchor off at, to tie up to in Cozumel, but we had to, in the middle of the Gulf, the channel there between the mainland and Cozumel, that's where we get off to for those of us who had tours on the island. On the mainland side, and my first wife and I, we had a tour to go on. So the ship had to turn a certain way to block the waves and all that, because there's a little bit of wave action going on that day, and board tenders. That took us to Playa del Carmen. Picture Playa del Carmen back in those days. Playa del Carmen was an old sleepy fishing village back in those days, and there was not a lot of resorts on that side of Mexico along that coastline. Today, there's all kinds of resorts through there, but back in those days, nothing but jungles. And so we went to shore and walked up the muddy streets of Playa del Carmen, boarded buses, and took us over to Tulum, which that was a real fine tour to go to Tulum. That's a little bit of a bus ride, but then we stopped at some place on the way back and did a little snorkeling and came on back to to Playa del Carmen. But back in those days, Playa del Carmen was a little sleepy fishing village, and I got to climb the steps up to Tulum, and that was a trip. I don't know if they do that anymore. I don't know if they let you climb the steps of Tulum, but the ruins are the Mayan ruins. But that was really fascinating. Anyway, you just have to roll the punches. One time we were on Carnival Breeze out of Galveston, and Hurricane Harvey hit Galveston. Of course, everybody knows about Harvey. Harvey did not blow on through Galveston and the Houston region. It kind of hung around for a while, did a loop-de-loop and stuff like that, and it didn't move off. And we had well over 60 inches of rain in this region. And I did contact, while we were on the ship, Carnival Breeze. We had to change the itinerary around to where we kind of missed a major part of Harvey before we moved on into the Gulf and hit Texas. We wound up spending 13 days out there waiting for Harvey to clear out of the Houston region. We spent 2 days in Cozumel. Then we went over into New Orleans and spent 3 days. 2 other ships that sailed out of Galveston that time believe, I'm not exactly sure which one, Dream, and one other one. I can't think of the name of the other ship that was in Galveston at that time. But we all went to New Orleans. We went to New Orleans first, and what they did was swap that entertainment. Carnival Triumph, I remember that, was in New Orleans at that time. Carnival Triumph was sailing in and out of New Orleans at that time. She was in Galveston originally, but then she moved over to New Orleans, and we swapped out some entertainment and all, which was great because we got to experience some new, fresh entertainment, comedians and stuff like that. We spent that one day there, then we moved out into the channel of New Orleans and anchored off for a day while the two other ships came in and did their thing and replenish supplies and let some people. When we were originally there the first day, half the ship left. They got off the ship and flew home to wherever they were. My guess were they were not Estonians or people who from our region. They were just we get a lot of people from across the country in Galveston sailing out. So anyway, we went back, and we had some nice parties. The ship was only half full, and Mike Pack, well, I remember him. He was the cruise director for the Breeze, and that we had a great time. He did a great job of taking care of us and entertaining us. And then the other two ships, the next day, they left out, and we did the horn blast. If you see some of the videos on YouTube, I have some videos of it where they came by. We did the blowing the horns and get back and forth between each other. That was pretty cool. That was actually pretty cool. So if you get a chance, go look at some of my videos on that. But then we went on into New Orleans and spent another day in New Orleans, and Carnival paid for us to have the little bus ride throughout the New Orleans. We get off wherever we wanted to. Didn't have to pay a dime for any of that. We went to spend some time in the French Quarter. Of course, we had to go to Cafe Du Monde to get some beignets, and my daughter was with us. Our 18-year-old daughter was with us, and she had a great time. And I had to have a muffaletta sandwich from one of the other restaurants down there. Then we got back on the ship. But these captains and cruise lines, they're going to take care of you. They do not want you to get injured. They don't want you to have a bad time. So they're going to try to do the best they can to steer around these storms. I know there's some ships that were having to delay coming back into port a couple of days. Now, that's nothing to me because, like I said, we were delayed 6 days coming back to Galveston. So we had a 7-day cruise, became a 13-day cruise. And so it's just, you got to roll the punches sometimes. It just, things happen, and they want to take care of you. They want to, the captains and the cruise lines, they want to make sure that you are safe. And when we got back to Galveston, we were the last. Royal Caribbean, Liberty Seas, and the other two Carnival ships came in. They reloaded with more passengers. They left, and we came on in and did our thing. One thing about Carnival, they did a great job taking care of us. They had Carnival people all the way from the ship to we walked off the premises. They're saying, "Hope you had a great time. We were sorry about what happened." Every step of the way, they had like probably 20, 30 people along the way for us. Oh, also before we got on the ship, they gave us a goodie bag full of candy, water, and stuff like that. They bent over backwards. I gotta say that. And everybody knows me. I'm a big Royal Caribbean guy, but I tell you, Carnival took a very good care of us, and I don't mind selling Carnival every once in a while, and they did a good job. I do have a place in my heart for the Breeze, Carnival Breeze. And I like to eventually one day get back on the border and do another 7-day sailing, and I hope to do that one day soon. But she, like I said, she has a place in my heart for how well they took care of us, and it was home for us for 13 days straight. Anyway, I wanted to also talk about Royal Caribbean. They came out with called the opening schedule for 2026 and 2027 deployment. They drive me nuts. I love them to death, but they drive me nuts on how they roll out the calendars for the next schedule, the next deployments. And I will post it here on you'll be able to see what I'm saying. Week of October 21st, 2024 would be the Alaska season, which is April through October 2026 is the calendar time frame for them, sailing time frame. The week of October 28th is the Europe calendar. Week of November 11th, 2024, summer and year-long Caribbean. That's the one I want to really see. If you guys watch my videos, you know what I'm talking about here. November 11th was that stuff, all that cool stuff's going to come out. But it's not the full calendar for Galveston. It's going to be just the summer and year-long Caribbean sailings. November 18th is the Northeast. Week of January 27th, 2025 is the European continent. The February 17th, 2025 is one of the short Caribbean and the West Coast. That's the other calendar, part of the calendar I want to see. Why do I got to wait till February, in the middle of February for the short calendar to come out? That's, like I said, it drives me nuts because I have this big desire to know this information. So anyway, February 24th, the seasonal Caribbean comes out. And then the week of March 31st, 2025, Australia, which one of these days I'm going to do an Australian cruise. And it's to be determined when they do this China and Singapore, which, okay, that just, that's going to happen when it's going to happen. But I hate that they drag this stuff out for so long. That's like 6 months, man. But, and of course, the Caribbean is the main thing I always concerned about. That's what's, out of Galveston here. And I have to wait till November 11th to know I know it was going to come. For it to be official, I know it's coming. And I have a sneaky suspicion on some other things that's going to happen on that. But I want to roll all the Caribbean out, the short, the seasonal, everything all at one time. But they got to wait till February for the other half of that schedule to come out. So, darn it. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing good out there. My heart and prayers are to you guys in the Florida Panhandle area. I know Tony Lalita Loca, he's up there in that area, and I hope him and his wife Jenny, they do very well. Hope they survive and just hunker down or move, get out of the way. Just get out of the way. Just take a trip somewhere. My days of hanging out and riding out hurricanes in the Category 2 range and above is over with. I've done too many here, and I said, you know what, I'm ready to hide out somewhere, but head to Texas Hill Country or something like that. This barrel, it blew through here pretty quick, but it had a little bit of wind, and it knocked our power out. I did buy a new generator today, a 9,000 watt generator, and I'm going to hook it up to the house whenever we need it. But I tell you what, just everything shuts down for a week. No restaurants, no stores, and all that. So it's a pain, man. And even if you have a generator running, you can't get anything from the store or restaurants or whatever. And so you can't. It's hard to go get some fresh beer. Anyway, but you guys got to take care of yourselves, man. Just load up the car, get important papers and documents and stuff, throw it in the back in the trunk, and just hit the road. Get out of here, man. It does, just find a hotel somewhere, a couple of 100 miles away. Get out of the path of this thing. It's just not worth it anymore. I used to ride them all out, and I tell you what, I've had it. I'm done with them. So anyway. But I tell you what, I don't mind cruising the hurricane season because those people they don't get in the way. They don't endanger you. I know the breeze sailed out the other day out of Galveston, and then I know doing loop-de-loops in the Western Caribbean. They was in the Western Caribbean. They just kind of hung out, stayed out of the way of the hurricane Helene, and that's the best policy, man. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope everything works out well for you, and my prayers are everybody who's infected, and I just hope that we all get to go on another cruise. I'll be on a cruise in 9 days. Harmony of the Seas coming up. Very excited. I'm really looking forward to getting on this ship, celebrating my wife's birthday, and that's the best place to be. So anyway, all you guys, be careful. Hope I'll meet you on a future cruise, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Goodbye.